Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'd like to introduce to you an indie Otome game that is currently launched on Kickstarter, and it is called Unforeseen Resurrection Otome Isekai RPG. But before I start, I'd like to thank all of those who supported me in Patreon, Ko-fi's tips. I truly appreciate it. It means so much to me. I have started doing Patreon exclusive content. For those who are interested, do check the link below. Also, I'd like to thank those who have boosted my server. That means a lot to me as well. Now remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you would like more cozy and Otome game content, and I promise you, you will not regret it. But anyway, I think that's it. Let me start. Now note that this is my kind of first impressions, all based on the demo currently available on the Kickstarter, which I have placed a link below. But the premise of the game is basically there's this main character. She is able to go to this academy. She's kind of struggling, but due to her boyfriend's connections, she's able to carry on. However, one day she discovers that her boyfriend has been cheating on her, and it's so much drama, honestly. I was getting so excited. But then what happens if she finds out, she gets upset, the boyfriend, because he's awful, I don't even think it's accidentally, kind of. He kills her, basically. Or hits her, and then she falls and dies. And then suddenly a screen appears saying, "You died. However, you've got enough money to resurrect. So would you like to do that?" And obviously she's like, well, yes, of course. And so she comes back to life to a point before she discovers that her boyfriend's been cheating on her. And yeah, the story goes from that point onward. Now currently there is only one love interest. He's called Zasua, and he's the naive prodigy. We don't get to see too much of him, but he is kind of like this calm, collected kudera kind of vibe from what we know so far. And yeah, I think he'd be interesting. Obviously, the number of love interests is going to depend on how many people back this project, so that's kind of key. And remember, I have put the link down below. However, there's one character I really wish and hope will be a love interest option. And he is like the best friend of the main character, and when he hears of things happening to the main character, he is so he's so caring. He wants her to be happy, and I don't know, I'm really hoping he's like bi. I got the impression he might be gay, but I don't know. I'm just really hoping, because throughout the entire playthrough of the demo, I was so hyper about him, which by the way, I did stream it, so I have the link down below as well. But yeah, so there's that, and there are a couple of other characters, all really interesting, and yeah, it's been a fun ride. Now the gameplay is exceptionally unique for an Otome game. Instead of it just being a visual novel style where you're reading text, you've actually got this 3D moving around thing going on. It's supposed to be a little bit like Room Factory. Now the movements and stuff are reminiscent of early 2000s kind of build where there's a bit of clunkiness. However, I don't know how the dev managed to do this, but she's managed to kind of make the humor adapt that so that it's so funny, the expressions of people in response to different things that happen in the dialogue are I laughed so hard. I haven't laughed this much because of an Otome in a while. It's just, I don't know how she does it. When you first start, you think, wow, this is gonna be a clunky ride, but then you're playing and it kind of works, weirdly enough. And it kind of also feels nostalgic. Is that kind of saying a lot about my age? But yeah, so there is farming, there is fighting, as well as moving around. It is very kind of Room Factory-esque, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how she develops this kind of innovative way of an Otome game that we haven't seen yet. Now, who would I and would I not recommend this game to? So I would recommend it to those who like comedy, humor, drama. Honestly, the things that happen, the demo is so short and yet so much happens and in a way that isn't rushed, and it's just so much fun. You need to play it. You need to play the demo, please. I'm begging you, because you'll see where I'm coming from once you start playing it. I would also recommend it to those who enjoy gameplay and Otome games, because, you know, that isn't something we find very often, especially in the ones that are from Japan. So if you like that sort of thing, then this is perfect. I also recommend it to those who like Rune Factory because it does have that similar vibe. Now, I would not recommend this game to those who just want a VN style, like just read kind of Otome game. I completely understand that some of us just don't have the time to be playing a game style and you just want to relax and read. So if you're that kind of person, then this may not be the game for you. I would also not recommend it to those who are looking for like state-of-the-art insane 3D graphics, because this you're not gonna get. I would also not recommend it to those who like the kind of Japanese classic typical anime art, because this is very unique and not kind of far from that, especially with the 3D models. Now the rating, I'd give the pacing a 4 out of 5. It was very snappy in a good way. I was constantly engaged. I wanted to know what happened. Obviously there were bits where I wasn't sure which way I was going, but I think that's something that would be fixed as the game gets developed. The plot, honestly, so far, I'd give it like a 4 or 5 out of 5 because I was having so much fun. I wanted to know what would happen next. I'm so sad that the demo ended because I was like, but what now? I want to know, if you know what I mean. Like the drama that happened and then the comedy, like the facial expressions in like this, I don't know, there's just something really funny about it. Romance I cannot rate yet because we didn't really see any or enough to be able to really judge that. That's something to message the dev about if you're curious. Same goes for spice because that kind of goes hand in hand with the romance. Art, I would give it, okay, I'm not going to judge it in terms of like comparing it to things like Otome and Regit because obviously this is an indie dev, it's all done on her own, so I'm not going to rate it with that mindset. I would give it a 3 out of 5. It's kind of hard to rate it, to be honest. The 2D art I really like, I would say a 4 out of 5, but obviously when you put it onto the 3D graphics, it's kind of, it doesn't really look like your typical Otome game where you're like, oh my god, he's handsome. Saying that, I did have a massive thing for her best friend, so I kind of can't say anything. So yeah, I'd say a 3 out of 5. It may be really appealing to some, but not so much to others, depending on what your taste is. Now, overall, for me, personally, it was an 8.5 out of 10 because I just really enjoyed it. I'm obviously not taking like the bugs and clunkiness into consideration because it's still very, very early days as a Kickstarter project that needs polishing. As for from maybe what everyone else will think, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. You know, it's quite unique, so I wouldn't say it's for everyone, if you know what I mean. But personally, I think those who try it out will definitely like gain something out of it. So I think 7 out of 10 is fair. Maybe 7.5, I don't know. But I know it's like, it's good, you know? Now finally, my overall comment. While there were bugs and clunky issues here and there, I do understand that this is still very early days for the devs, so these things will be ironed out. And with that in mind, when I think about the stories, the facial expressions of the characters, I highly enjoyed this game. Like honestly, I think it's the expressions and the timing. You know how comedy, it's all about timing of how things happen? Well, she nailed it. Like, I don't know, I just had a lot of, it brought about a lot of laughter from me, and I'm curious how the romance is gonna be because I haven't seen it yet. Come on, best friend. Did I say I like the best friend? I am curious how she's going to develop this and what the farming and the fighting is going to be like in the final version. So yeah, overall I'm really excited, and please do check out the demo. And to those who are umming and ahhing about whether to back this project, remember that there's only Mistonia, from what I remember, that is releasing in November, like mid-November. And then in December, I don't think there's anything releasing. So, you know, if you think about that, there hasn't been that many releases. So I think it's justified if you are to back this project. Just saying. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Do comment any questions below, and I'm sure the dev will be able to also answer them. As is always the case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!